Tom Holland and Jonah Hill are making strong statements about their mental health. Ezra Miller issues a statement as they enter treatment. The Emmys are coming up, and we've also got some Oscars news.
It's all coming up right now on The Take.
Hey everyone, and welcome to The Take. I'm Elizabeth Wagmeister.
And I'm Clayton Davis, and we're here to give you our take on some of the week's biggest stories. Hello, Elizabeth. We are coming to the end of the summer.
We are, and that also means that the Emmys are near. We're going to be talking about that today. We have some Oscars news as well, but first, let's start off with a really important story. Two of Hollywood's biggest stars are speaking openly about mental health. Both Tom Holland and Jonah Hill this week released statements letting their fans know that they are going to be taking a step back in order to protect their own mental health. So for those who haven't seen this news yet, different reasons, but all, I think, promoting the same issue, which is we all need to protect our own mental health, which is so important when you have a platform to discuss. It's certainly not something that was discussed in Hollywood many years ago. Now, Tom Holland, he announced that he is going to be taking a break from social media. And Jonah Hill, he said that he's not going to be doing any media and is essentially canceling his press tour for all upcoming projects. Jonah Hill, in his open letter, which was beautifully written, he said that he basically gets anxiety, and by doing these press tours and these media tours, it worsens it for him. He actually has a documentary coming out which he directed, and it centers around him and his therapist talking about his mental health. So when he released this letter, he said, for me to do something that would worsen my mental health, that would go against the exact point of this film. Tom Holland, of course, one of the biggest stars in the world and one of the biggest young stars, says that it's detrimental to his mental health to read the messages that come on social media. I fully support this, and I'm so glad that they're not only taking care of themselves, but again, putting this message out there for the world to know that it's okay to take a step back and protect yourself.
Yeah, I think what this really highlights is that we forget that celebrities are actually people. They are people with feelings, and who can't relate to having to step away from social media, which can be very toxic. We feel it as journalists. You know, we write something or we're reporting something, and the criticism often maybe not even about what we're talking about. It's what we're wearing or what we look like. And a lot of that people can relate to. And I think it also puts a very special highlight on just because you have money and fame doesn't mean happiness is automatic. You do need to take care of yourself. I think it's an important thing to keep on talking about, because mental health is an important topic right now in this not just industry, in the world, and it's something that's criminally underfunded.
I say go Tom and go Jonah, and we're rooting for you, and I'm so glad that they put out this message.
Yeah, we all need to try to be better, right? But speaking of being better, the Academy did something this week that actually is a step in the right direction. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences issued a letter of apology to Sacheen Littlefeather. She is a Native American activist and actress who accepted the Best Actor prize back in 1973 when Marlon Brando won his Oscar for Best Actor for The Godfather. In protest, she went onto the stage and spoke about the treatment of Native Americans in the Hollywood industry and the battles that were going on in Wounded Knee. She was received with a lot of boos and even threats of violence as she exited the stage. So this is important to note. A lot of people, I read some of the reactions of, wow, 50 years later, you're gonna apologize? I'll take the apology when I can get one. She was blacklisted from Hollywood. John Wayne had to be restrained. Everybody remembers John Wayne was trying to charge and assault her at the Oscar ceremony. By the way, he wasn't kicked out of the Academy. Just want to put that out there. And then later on, Clint Eastwood, who took the stage right after her, made a joke about what she was speaking about. This is a step in the right direction, and the Oscars are now going to honor her at the Academy Museum. You're going to have a sit-down conversation with her in September so she could talk about her experience. I think it's a win for all of us for progress.
I agree, and I'm glad that this apology did come, but I have to say, two things can be true at the same time. Yay for the Academy for doing this, but also shame on the Academy for waiting 50 years. I mean, I'm with the people that say, it's kind of too little too late. You know, again, I'm glad that this happened, but it just shows that the fight for progress is still very much alive and we have so much more work to do. You mentioned they're kind of joking, but we still have, you know, Will Smith just this past year charging the stage. It shouldn't take 50 years for an apology, and this just really highlights there's so much more work to be done. And I'm sure that she's happy that she's getting this apology and that she'll have her moment and she'll be honored at the Academy Museum. But as you said, blacklisted from Hollywood, you can never take those years back.
Yeah, and hopefully, again, she's 75. It's a move in the right direction. But speaking of Oscar buzz, the film RRR, which is an action epic, 3-hour action epic, is the biggest film in India's history, is generating a lot of buzz at the moment because India is in the process of choosing their film to be selected to represent them at the Academy Awards ceremony. RRR has lit up social media with its star Junior NTR, pictures and thirst traps everywhere. Fans love him. The action epic has visual effects. It is a monument to action cinema. It is bonkers crazy. It reminds me of George Miller's Mad Max Fury Road. Like, it shouldn't work on paper, but it does. And the only hump to get over right now, besides the fact that this is highlighting India cinema, and we love that it's in Telugu, which is one of the languages in India, and India's submissions typically are in Hindi. Now, India has not been nominated for an Oscar in 21 years. Hopefully, they choose right. And even if it's not India's submission, it should be on voters' minds here in America for other categories.
Yes, you wrote a great piece and it got a ton of attention. And you always have a bone to pick when films are long. So the fact that you're saying this is 3 hours and I love it and it's great is a big deal. And it also is a big deal for the Academy. Again, we don't know what's going to happen if it will be the first film nominated for India in 21 years. But in recent years, we've been seeing a lot more international films really make their way into the main categories at the Oscars. And that's been great to see. But let's move on to some Emmy news because I know you are excited that the race is getting closer.
I am. We're in final Emmy voting mode and nominations are out. Voters are making their picks. Succession leading the charge with 25, expected to dominate the drama categories. Comedy, it's a death match between Only Murders in the Building, Ted Lasso, and Abbott Elementary, while on limited series, we have The White Lotus leading the way, but Dope Sick and The Dropout are very close behind. The acting races are to watch. Zendaya, looking to make history again. She's already made history as the first Black woman to win lead actress drama, already made history as the youngest ever to be nominated twice. She might do it again, winning for Euphoria. And Jennifer Coolidge on our cover and looking as beautiful as ever. She seems like a slam dunk to win her Emmy for The White Lotus.
This is her first Emmy nomination, which is bonkers because I think that she should have been nominated for everything a million times already, but I agree with you. I think she's the front runner. I hope that she wins. I would love to see Zendaya win again, and I'm glad that you mentioned Only Murders because we'll keep saying it till the end of time. Selena definitely snubbed. I cannot believe still that she's not nominated for season 2, but I do wonder if the finale, which is next week, will really help propel Only Murders when voters are making those final votes because it's top of mind.
Oh, yes, that is helping Only Murders. It's also helping Better Call Saul. Bob Odenkirk and Ray Seahorn heavily in those conversations as well. It's going to be a hot race.
And the farewell season, that always helps as well. But moving on to another story making headlines this week, Ezra Miller, the star of The Flash, has issued an apology statement after a string of very public troubles, saying that they are going to be entering treatment for mental health issues. Now, this is a big turn of events for Ezra Miller, who has been arrested twice this year in Hawaii and got in trouble in Vermont earlier this month for burglary. Also in 2020, Ezra Miller was seen on a recording allegedly choking a woman who spoke to Variety, actually, for an investigative piece. Now, of course, all of this behavior, a long string of well-documented, troubling behavior, is not good for a number of reasons. But if we're just talking about the film business in which Ezra Miller is in, Ezra Miller is the star of The Flash, which comes out next June. This is a huge property for DC, a huge property for Warner Brothers, and Obviously, all of this mess in the public is troublesome for the release of the film, but more troublesome for humanity. No person should be acting in this way, and I really hope that Ezra gets the help that they need, but more so for the alleged victims as well.
The only thing I'm going to add to this is everyone deserves a road to redemption, but I just want to point out David Zaslav had said during the cancellation of Batgirl, we're not going to put out something we don't believe in. So Batgirl's worth canceling. The Flash is not. That's all I have to say.
End of story. And I'm really glad you said that, because it's not just the public fallout with Ezra Miller. This is the public fallout of Warner Brothers, which is obviously under a lot of turmoil now. But more to come there. And as always, thank you for joining us right here on The Tape.
Thanks for watching.